Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS episode review. This time we will be going over episode 99 of Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS. It's crazy that we are already 100 episodes, or almost 100 episodes through the show. I really feel like it just started. Well, not just started, but it's not been 100 episodes worth yet, so time really does fly, and we are going to get into the first part of the Bowman and Playmaker duel. I do want to hear from you guys as well down below. General impressions, I thought the episode was pretty good. I don't think it was at the level of the Revolver and Lightning duel so far. Of course, that duel was 3 episodes, so it still might reach that level in the later episodes, or even the duel right before that, which was Soulburner versus Bowman, Lightning versus Spectre, Windy versus Soulburner. There were a lot of really good duels in this arc, and so far I don't think this duel got off to as good of a start as those duels did. Even Blue Maiden versus Bowman, I thought, got off to a little bit of a better start, but then again, this duel, I believe, honestly, might be like 5 or 6 episodes. I really do believe that with how slow these turns take, and the fact that this probably is the final duel of the season. I don't see any other duel happening this season, so to me, it's almost as if, considering we have no Season 3 news, and I am 99.9% sure that this show is not going to end after this duel. I know there are a few people that think that. I have no suspicion at all that that's going to be the case. So I look at the calendar and I say, this duel might last until the May 22nd or May 29th episode, which would make this like a 5 or 6 part duel. Now, will it reach that length? I'm not too sure. I think it's definitely going to reach at least 3 or 4 episodes, and I really do think it has the potential to be 5 or 6 episodes. So that being said, it's understandable why, the duel might not be as amazing every single episode as a Windy versus Soulburner, where that duel was only 2 episodes, as a Lightning versus Spectre, where that duel was 2 episodes, even a Revolver versus Lightning, where the duel was 3 episodes, but we got so much plot between Revolver and Lightning, and the Lost Incident, and Jin, and Lightning's character was just so intriguing. And while I do enjoy Bowman's character quite a bit, especially way more than the beginning of the show. When Bowman was first introduced, I was talking to my friend Pete about this, and I know I've said it in the review before and in the podcast before, I really wasn't that big of a fan of him for the first probably like 30 episodes. It wasn't until he really got his memory back and we learned what he actually was that I really started to enjoy his character. And one of the things that I really like about his character is how painfully hypocritical he is. The hypocrisy that this man shows in doing actions like giving Blue Maiden one last chance to say goodbye to Akira, like acknowledging Soulburner as a very good duelist before finishing him off, or more, a better example, is when he prevented Jin from being killed off by Lightning, when he prevented Jin and Lightning from just beating up Playmaker physically and stepping in and intervening with the situation. But in this episode, we see him use human sacrifices, even though he makes the argument that it's their consciousness and not their life. But what's the difference? And because their consciousness is going to live on through him, they're not actually dying. They're going to be part of a better world, and he's always going to give them justice and give them their due. I mean, he's just so twisted when it comes to it that he genuinely thinks he's doing the right thing. And because he was built by Lightning, because he was built as an AI, he doesn't really have that moral compass. So to him, when I calls him a hypocrite, he literally goes, "Hypocrite? Me?" And he's not being evil. He's not playing dumb. He genuinely doesn't understand moral compass. He genuinely doesn't understand morality and ethics. So I find it to be so funny, but at the same time so frustrating that he genuinely thinks what he's doing is not evil in the slightest. And oh man, the hypocrisy there is great, because it really does make you hate his character more, as you are supposed to hate a villain character. We also saw our first Link 5. I mean, I'm sure that's what people really want me to talk about, and it was the highlight of this episode by far. I didn't think there was anything else that stood even near the Link 5 summon in terms of being good in this episode. Chimera, Hydra Drive, Dragrid, and the monster design, I couldn't have been the only one that was reminded of Five-Headed Dragon, which was used in Duel Monsters. It was used in GX. That was a very typical go-to mini antagonist boss monster early on in the Yu-Gi-Oh days, and that's exactly what this monster reminded me of. They could have called it Seven-Headed Dragon if they wanted to make it more of a reference to Five-Headed Dragon. It seems to have all the elements on it, which is interesting because it's an Earth monster. I don't know why they picked Earth and not Divine. I feel like if they picked Divine, that would have been really cool, but here's the thing. This is the first episode, and Bowman is already using the Neuron Link, and he already created a Link 5. By the end of this duel, the amount of insanity and the amount of screw the rules, for lack of a better term, that we might see from Bowman by the end of this duel is going to be insane. Like, he's already set the table high. Like, if he summoned this monster towards the end of the duel, we'd say, alright, this is what he was building up for. This was at the beginning of the duel. He pulled out a Link 5 on his very first turn. I want to see like a Link 8 by the end of this duel. Obviously, I don't think that's going to happen, but he already is using a second skill. First of all, he can use the skill that he used, Master Storm Access. He can use that skill on every single turn. It wasn't a once per duel. He literally says once per turn, I can pull a monster of my choosing from the data storm. So, I mean, we thought that Lightning screwed the rules bad when he was able to convert Jin's data to a life point to defeat Revolver at the end of the duel in last week's episode. Bowman is already outdoing him in this episode, and they are just absolutely showing no regard for the rules whatsoever, the villains, which, of course, it's a villain thing to do. So Playmaker is really at a massive disadvantage, right? We saw Cyber's Quantum again, which was really cool. I almost forgot that at the very end, it's almost like they kind of rushed Playmaker's turn. Bowman's first turn took almost the entirety of the episode, but Playmaker was able to get out Cyber's Quantum, and it seemed like through Cyber's Quantum's effect, he was going to be able to return Chimera Hydro Drive Dragon to the hand of Bowman, or which would be to the extra deck in this case. But then Bowman goes and starts using another skill. So the amount of insanity that this duel is going to get to is going to be, in my opinion, a lot of fun to watch. I honestly love duels like this. I think of the Dawn 1000 duel, which of course that duel, there wasn't really any cheating involved, but when you summon a monster with 100,000 attack points, it's just insane. And so I think I'm really going to like the antics of Bowman in this duel and how Playmaker is going to be able to overcome them. It's going to be tough for him, man. But Bowman, we don't know what that second skill is. I'm not sure if he's going to use Master Storm Access on Playmaker's turn as well. I think based on the dialogue, this might be a different skill, and so I'm not sure what this skill is going to be, but it all has to do with that Neuron Link. Akira and Ghost Girl are working very hard behind the scenes to log everyone out of Link VRAINS, which would assumingly cancel out the Neuron Link, because Bowman is using people. He's using thousands, as he said, of human sacrifices, which is the reason why he trapped everyone in Link VRAINS. He's using all of these sacrifices to create these monsters, to create Link 5s, and there was a great line he said when I was like, I don't think anything higher than Link 4s exists, and Bowman was like, if it doesn't exist, create it. And boom, that was a really good line, really good villainous line there, especially because he's creating it via thousands of human sacrifices. If Akira and Ghost Girl are able to log everyone out of the VRAINS, then the Neuron Link, assumingly, I guess, would be canceled, right? Because there's no way that it can take any more consciousness data from human beings, and that's how it runs. So that seems to be what is going to happen. Akira and Ghost Girl are going to have to stop this Neuron Link. They're going to have to get everyone out of the VRAINS, everyone out of danger. And this is another case where it absolutely baffles me that Soul Technologies has just completely disappeared. I mean, you have to figure they're watching this, even if they don't have access to Mirror Link VRAINS, which I find it hard to believe that they don't have access to Mirror Link VRAINS. They have access to the regular Link VRAINS. So what are they doing? This is their program. Why is Akira literally the only one that's trying to get people, not under Soul Tech's watch, by the way. He's doing it under his own ambitions. Why is Soul Technologies doing nothing to get people out of Link VRAINS right now? And they're not having any even dialogue in the show. Very, very bizarre that Soul Technologies has just completely gone by the wayside. The chess pieces, even Queen as a character after the Playmaker and Go duel, which was, I believe, the duel right before they went in to Mirror Link VRAINS, not counting Revolver and Soulburner. It just baffles me that Soul Technologies is doing absolutely nothing. But if Playmaker wins this, he is probably going to have to thank Akira and Ghost Girl for stopping the Neuron Link, and we're going to have to see if they're able to do that. Other than that, there was really nothing that stood out too heavy in this episode. Again, I really do believe that this duel could go on for 5-6 episodes. I think it could go through the month of May, and then maybe the beginning of June is when the new season is going to begin. So hopefully, if that's the case, we do get news on Season 3 stuff. I know a few people that don't find Bowman's character enjoyable. I mean, after all, this is a round 4 of Playmaker and Bohman, so if that's the case, I'm sure you're hoping it does not go 5 or 6 episodes. That would be a hell of a long duel. I think if it even goes 4 episodes, it would be the longest duel in Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS thus far. And because it is the 4th time these characters are dueling each other, I can understand why that would be a bit redundant. But we will just have to wait and see. So you guys let me know how you thought this duel got off to a good start, or if you thought this duel got off to a good start, or it was just kind of a mediocre episode for you. Let me know anything that you want to see in this duel, because I really am hoping that this duel reaches just insanity levels, and it almost is already feeling like a final duel. I'm not saying it's a final duel. I don't think it is the final duel, but usually the final boss characters of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows have crazy overpowered decks. They have Darkness. Darkness's deck was crazy OP. Then you had Zone and his insane Time Lords. You had Don Thousand. You had Zark. So that's kind of where Bowman is fitting in here, which if they're already doing this for Bowman, I can't wait to see the deck that the final antagonist is going to play. And then maybe there is a chance, you never know, that Bowman is going to win, but Bowman made it very clear in this episode that if he wins, he's immediately going to take over the world. Like, there's not going to be any downtime. He's not going to go on a 3-week vacation to the Bahamas after he beats Playmaker. No, he's taking over the world immediately, taking over humanity, I should say, immediately after this duel ends, which further makes me think that Playmaker will not lose. But if he does lose and Season 3 is about him having to, like, regain himself and fight to defeat Bowman, the man that's basically a god at this point, or a dictator as I calls him, that would be pretty interesting as well. But I still do believe that Playmaker will find a way to pull this one out. So guys, you let me know all your thoughts on episode 99, and thank you so much for watching my review on episode 99. A special thank you to my platinum tier patrons Alexa Baker, Glen McGookin, Jorge Carrillo, James Rose, Samuel Stark, Thomas Adderley, Horace Maye, Goosey Q, and Vincent Van Der Veen, and to my diamond tier patron Jesse Wood, and to my Egyptian god tier patrons Syn Cloud and Chris Swan. A huge thank you to everyone who supports me over on Patreon. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it and how much it helps me out, and a huge thank you to everyone who just watches these videos, because without you guys, I would not be able to do this. I will talk to you all things Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS 99 down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.